what were your expectations from the customer services team when you have joined MRMGF?
See, our basic expectations from the customer services team was to create a world-class setup where we can take care of our customers. And we started as a very premium brand, uh, which was non-existent at that time. There were other players like DLF, Ansals and Unitech, but none of them had an international premium appeal to their brand. And since we started developing very upmarket and high-end properties like the Palm Springs, we wanted to differentiate ourselves. And since it entailed not just marketing collaterals and advertisements, it also entailed a lot of customer care initiatives. And with that reason, we wanted our customer care services to provide the desired levels of customer services to our customers who were HNIs and who came from the upper middle segment of the customers, and because that is the segment that we were more looking at. And I guess they pretty much fulfilled the role, and in fact, it has got us a lot of recognition in terms of the quality of our interactions with the customers. So those were the primary objectives when it all started, and then as we went along, there were many other requirements that we found out that we needed addressed. Things like driving relationships through customer care, driving repeat sales through customer care, creating a brand differentiator through the interactions that happen with the customers. And the customer care team has been gearing up to come up to the expectations of the management since then.
So, what is your craziest moment with the customer services team?
Craziest in the sense of?
Craziest in the sense of where you want to just go back and sit in the room, your room, you want some space over out of that moment.
Craziest in the negative sense, right?
No, the funniest part.
Funniest part. See, as far as the customers are concerned, a lot of interactions turn funny because they would come up and expect a lot, and it is like about upping the bar every time. So you move online, they need something else. You set up a call center, they would say the call center executives didn't talk nicely. You get people who can talk nicely, they'll say, why don't you come to our places and resolve our queries? So, a whole lot of funny things happen when you deal with the customers. But yes, of course,
Anything you have experienced?
No, I keep experiencing a lot of things, but more or less, since our team is pretty capable, they try and control it, and they mostly are successful in mitigating such occasions. So I haven't particularly seen a really crazy moment where it impacted other functions sitting in the same building. So as far as I see it, they've done a pretty good job.
So the most memorable moment with customer services team?
See, I've dealt personally as a customer because I owned a property with Emaar MGF, and I've had a seamless experience while I bought it and while I sold it. So that is my most memorable. And there are a lot of times that my relatives or my friends or people that I know generally socially, they have certain queries or certain issues. So I raise it to the customer care teams, and they always resolve it very well. So that leaves very positive memories in my mind about these guys, because none of the people that I recommend to customer services ever comes back to me and says that it was not resolved. So
what comes to your mind when I talk about Ajay Nambiar?
Ajay Nambiar is headstrong. He is a very tat driven kind of a guy. He loves his numbers and charts and figures. Arman Chaudhary is also a very involved people leader, not just from the perspective of managing good performance, but also managing individualities. In the sense, I've seen him get the whole team go down and run. Uh, he makes sure that his people use the stairs. They don't take the lifts. He takes them out on outbounds. So one of these days he'll just take them out on lunches. So the point is, on one hand, where he's a very hard taskmaster, on the other, he's a very liberal friend too. So that is what I think is the good thing about Ajay.
Any message to customer services team?
They need to up their ante. They need to get ahead in the game. They shouldn't be resting on the laurels of the past. It is time that customer care is perceived to be the biggest factor in ensuring repeat sales with our existing clients. See, the point is, when you make a sale, the relationship between the sales manager and the customer ends while the documentation is taken care of. After that, the decision of whether that person will buy again with us solely depends on his interactions with the customer care. So it is a very critical component of retaining the customers and going in for repeat sales. In my view, they should now endeavor to take their efficiencies to new level, to increase their patience a little more, to up their communication skills, so that they can start delivering real value to the business by contributing in repeat sales. So for this, there'll have to be a lot of things that will need to be done. There'll be far more responsibility, far more accountability for every small interaction that happens, no matter who the customer is or the social strata that he comes from. Because a lot of our customers also come from rural backgrounds who are not very well educated, and there are times that people out here feel that oh, as part of the job we have to deal with such guys also. But then from the business perspective, anybody who has money today to buy another property of Emaar MGF, deserves all the respect and love and attention from all of us. So I think the customer care team now, since it is stabilized in terms of processes, it is stabilized in terms of the operations, it now needs to look at taking the next leap into driving sales. So that is how I see customer services adding more value in the future.
So in minimum words, please describe customer services team.
They're a bunch of high energy, very well engaged individuals, very proactive. I don't want to name anybody here because that would not be correct. But then certain people actually create a great impression every time that you talk to them for anything. It's a fun team. They have fun. They work hard. They ensure that their targets are met consistently over time.
Arman, minimum words.
It's okay. They're that good. But yes, of course, I remember of them as fun. They're fun to deal with, and they're very responsible when it comes to doing their work. So that's it.
Done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.